Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Minette Michelle Davis Jackson, also known as Kaya Eve, the mother of all living resurrected. I am also King David resurrected. I'm also Moses and Sarah resurrected. I'm also the wife, the queen, the mother, the daughter, the twin of mighty God AHAYAH, I am that I am, whom in this dimension is Adrissa Acuna Elba, as known as Idris Elba or King Driss. Idris Elba once again is mighty God AHAYAH, I am that I am in the flesh, back on the earth. Adrissa Acuna Elba, aka Idris Elba, was the Messiah that died on the tree, the cross, for us, and now has returned back to the earth after the 5,500-year promise, as mentioned in the Forgotten Books of Eden. In this segment, we're going to again talk about time travel and robots, artificial intelligence. And I'm mentioning this again because we have many cloned imposters and artificial intelligent robots out here that's trying to take over. And as I mentioned before, many of the clone imposters have Judah and Israel memories copied to them, and many of them do not know that they are clone imposters. So again, we're going to talk about some of the experiences that I had experienced while time traveling. Again, before this mission, as I mentioned to you before, I was working on a time travel device. And I had to leave it to come to earth to do the mission for mighty God AHAYAH, I am that I am. And I left notes for my team to finish the device for me. And as once again, it appears the time travel device and technology was stolen and ended up in the wrong hands. In the current timeline of the past, in the future, it is really dark and condemned. In one of the current timeline of the past, the children, they go to some kind of carnival and jump on a ride, and they get high, and then they get high with some kind of white substance that looks like cocaine. Then they fall out, and once they fall out, the ride takes them in space, and then they wake up and then jump. They time travel, and these strands will show up, and the children from ages 7 to 13, they would jump on these strands, and the children would show up in airports, like in the Men in Black series that Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones had made. So if you look at the Men in Black series again, I know it's been old that it's been made, but that's actually what's happening. We have a lot of aliens and people that looks like human that are in human skin that are not human. And like I said, these children of the fallen angels of this current timeline crashing into the lake of fire, they children, like I said, they go to a carnival, they get high, the ride takes them in space, in deep dark space, then strands show up, they jump on the strands. And I know this because I was in the current future of the past. And like I said, I got on the ride with them to see exactly what they were doing. And I ended up coming back in the time that AHAYAH wanted me to jump to. And like I said, these children are doing all unrighteousness in this current timeline. They just destroying shit. And mighty God AHAYAH, I am that I am, or deleting all virtual shadow copies of earth. The enemy is trapped in jumping in a loop in the lake of fire. Like I told you before, mighty God AHAYAH gave us an experience inside of a PC, and what we're going through, some of the results in the earth as he renewed the face of the earth. We're in a temporary hollow place that I told you mentioned in the book of Enoch, and we're going through what a computer goes through when it is being reformatted, renewed. We are in a temporary hollow place. And mighty God AHAYAH told you over and over, as the enemy kept attacking us, he told the enemy, do not touch his anointed, and don't touch his prophets, do his prophets no harm, else we will kill you in like manner. And AHAYAH gave Adam and myself, who is Idris Elba, and myself, Minette Michelle Davis Jackson, power over all our enemies, and that includes all powers, people with spiritual abilities from heaven, all principalities, which are the government, all rulers, all thrones and dominions. He gave us powers to tread upon all our enemies. So let's get back into this time travel thing with the clone imposters and even the bottomless pit. Many people don't understand what a bottomless pit is. I'm going to explain it, but I also want to let you know that the sun, the sun, is a very, very large planet. It can house the eight wonders. Many people call the eight wonders of the world. Like, it's many of the planets like Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, Jupiter, Venus. All those planets are going into the lake of fire as well as the zodiacs. That's how big the sun is to house all these planets that fell and sinned against mighty God AHAYAH, these celestial and terrestrial beings. So again, the bottomless pit, there's a shortcut to the black hole recycle inside the lake of fire, the bottomless pit. And like I said, the bottomless pit would be similar to a cylinder rotating from north to south, continuous on repeat. And again, those time traveling will jump on repeat in the bottomless pit until the black hole crush their souls null and void. Mighty God AHAYAH warned you over and over and over. And this is why mighty God AHAYAH never took the fallen angels from the sun. He knew that they would repeat the same bullshit and spin us back and to repeat the same old bullshit. This is the fourth time the enemy spun us back into the same bullshit. So that's why mighty God AHAYAH did not take you from the sun. He just put you in a temporary hollow place, a protective zone to try you. And because you are of the past, he wiped your memory and you repeated the past. You build everything you built in the past and you behave like you behaved in the past. And you practice witchcraft, sorcery, divinations like you did of the past. So that's again, you can't fuck with me no more. I know truth now. Let me slow down a little bit. You motherfuckers, my enemies, my father, AHAYAH, I am that I am, trapped your bitch asses as a page, a temporary page on his cell phone, and he can drag and drop the page in the lake of fire, the entire page at any time. And he gave me power to do the same. And I told you before, I've been dragging and dropping some shitty ass people into the lake of fire, starting with my goddamn neighbors that's attacking me non-stop. I drag and drop they bitch ass houses address into the lake of fire, and the delay would catch up with they bitch asses. It's a small delay. Small delay, like they did a small delay for us. Let's put a small delay on the attack so it wouldn't be obvious that we're attacking them. Whatever. Keep going. Let me keep going, y'all. Now, let's talk about these robots and AIs. In the current future of the past, the robots, the AIs, the artificial intelligence, when I say AIs, they're artificial intelligence, they outsmarted the makers and killed them in this condemned past future. And it's obvious the knowledge and wisdom was stolen material from the true holders of robotic technology. A robot should not outsmart its creator. A robot is to follow direct orders, even do mathematic calculations for you, and not talk back, not rebel, and not destroy and pretend to be human. And again, like I said, robots, artificial intelligent clone imposters. Many of Satan had kidnapped Judah and Israel, the children of Israel, and tried to make them use their abilities against mighty God AHAYAH, and trying to find out how they used their abilities, and were experimenting on them and replacing them with clones. They would copy their memories into these clone robots, and these robots don't know that they're clones. And like I mentioned before, when people make movies and the stuntmen, they call for stuntmen, which are clone imposters to do their stunt. So in case there's a death in the stunt, the clone would die and not the regular actor or actress. So let's get back into this. Like I said, we have many robots, artificial intelligent clone imposters with Judah and Israel memories copied to them. These damn cloned imposters don't even know that they're clones. And I have one of them in my house pretending to be my son, but I know that's Satan transformed, as I mentioned in previous ministry. But I'm freestyling in this one. Satan, like I said, Satan had kidnapped many of the children of Israel, Judah and Israel, and are experimenting on them in scientific labs, in mountains, in private governmental facilities, and etc. AHAYAH Mighty God, I am that I am, knows where all our children are at all times. Mighty God AHAYAH is the blood that runs through our veins, and the blood records everything, your every thought, your every mood. Mighty God AHAYAH, the great I am, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, that is everywhere at all time, records everything. So he knew you wouldn't pass the test. Like I said before, he created this temporary hollow place where all our enemies are, trapped them on a little bitty page, shrunk them to little bitty tiny little worms, and just drag and drop their bitch ass in the lake of fire and they gone. We finally got our enemies that killed all our people, colonies of genius. They blew up our original planet, and we finally got them forever. Continuing on. We had, like I said before, these robots in the future. We were in the compound, and these robots, they took over, and like I said, they killed the makers that build them. And the people in the compound, we were always warring with the robots. The robots thought that it was still a war outside of the compound. So when we, the people, were warring with the robots, and we break parts off the robots and kill them, they made us to repair them in order to get our foods. So eventually all the robots died off, and there was one left, and we were battling with that one. We would not repair him unless he let us go, and finally he let us go, and we didn't repair him. And it's like the earth was on a Sabbath without any inhabitants, and when we went out, it was very beautiful, like the Garden of Eden all over again. So like I said, we left the compound, and we I ended up back in this time. So and again, the people were transformed and deformed from all the experiments that the government and all these science are working on them in this current timeline, crashing into the lake of fire. Even idols are broken off. We have idols all over the world. When I say idols, like these monuments, like I'm in the United States in St. Louis, Missouri, and the Gateway Arch. In the future, the current future of the past, the Gateway Arch is broken off. The Statue of Liberty, arm and head broken off. That's what I mean by the monuments. The idols are all broken down and condemned, and it's all dark and grim in the future of this current past timeline. And the food and water, the government has a clear project going on. And the clear project, they have some kind of poison that look exactly like clear water, and it's tasteless. They have sent me again for the last 10 years. I told you, Mighty God AHAYAH came home in January 2011. He beamed inside my body, and I didn't know what was going on with me. And I told you I had gone to St. Mary's Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri on Clayton Road. And they knew that it was a homecoming. I kept hearing all the bells and whistles and all the signs on TV and stuff saying homecoming. But they tried to kill me. I didn't know what was going with me. I didn't know, like I told you before, how the Holy Spirit beams in you and all that. Nobody told me about that. And like I told you before, I thought a demon beamed in me and was trying to take over. And I had gone to St. Mary's Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri. And they, like I said, they said, Lord, let's keep you and let you get some rest and see how things were. But like I told you again, they kept me and started pumping me with all kind of pharmaceutical, psychedelic medicines and stuff to alter my mind. And this is the struggle that I've been going through until today. And this is 2021, and they still been sending me back and forth to the crazy home all this time. And history has repeated. In the real world we came from, they was doing the same thing. Let's talk about the food and water. The government, like I said, the Clear Project, they have water, they have poison that look like clear water. And when I was in the crazy house at the Gateway Mental Facility on Delmar in St. Louis, Missouri, this clear poison that they were putting in my water when they give me my medicine, it gave me symptoms like my whole body and face was swelling up, and my feet were hurting real bad, and it gave me really bad heartburn. So and I knew the Clear Project because before I was at that mental facility in the spirit, Mighty God AHAYAH and I were looking at them with the sponge thing, putting the clear poison in my water. We saw them when I was in the spirit. So when I was in the flesh going through this, Mighty God AHAYAH spirit remind me what they were doing in the water. So I wanted to go over that. And like I said, all these psychos that call themselves psychologists or psychologists, they're just Ishmaels. They are Hagar's descendants. They are Hindus. They are Arabs trying to poison us with psychedelic food and medicines to alter our minds so they can take our inheritance, because they are not part of the future. They are Hagar's descendants from Mount Sinai and in bondage, and Sinai means sinner. So like I said, history repeated. And I told you before, when Mighty God AHAYAH left me in the real world at a mental facility, he hid me, and the Russian doctor, he was experimenting on me, and they were raping me in that mental facility at Malcolm Bliss in St. Louis, Missouri, in the real world. And Mighty God AHAYAH destroyed all those Russians and doctors inside of Malcolm Bliss, and they are all down here in the pit of hell, and he's repeating the same thing they did to me in this dimension. So like I said, the food that these science experimenting on, many of the frozen foods or box food, I call box food, that tastes like cardboard. They submitted many of these foods to Mighty God AHAYAH and I to judge them whether they would be acceptable for us to consume. And we denied it. It was like only one box food. It was like the chicken Alfredo was the only one that tastes decent. Everything else just tasted like box and cardboard, so we denied it, and the white people got mad, and in this dimension they forced it on us anyway. So you remember the plastic fruit that we used to sit out on in our living rooms on a table to look pretty as decorative? Well, these motherfuckers put texture and taste to it, and we eating all kind of plastic and rubber and shit. Even many of the salads in containers that says spring mix, it's like crab grass, and they put in doo-doo and cheese. It's just all kind of nasty shit that's going on down here in the pit of hell, like I say, in this temporary hollow place that Mighty God AHAYAH has on his cell phone. And he allowed me to give you this testimony of time traveling, going back in the past and in the future with him, showing me these things. That's why he's deleting the shadow copies. He's deleting this temporary hollow place. Like I said, it's 4 hollow places as mentioned in the book of Enoch. And I told you before, he gave me spaces to create before he left to create the heavens and the earth. And this space we're currently in, I created. He created for me to create in it. And I'm deleting every fucking body in it, because every goddamn body in this dimension are sinners that were not judged and are being judged. All you motherfuckers are sinners that killed our people on our original planet. So no, I have no pity for you. No, I have no mercy for you. No, there shall not be no peace for you, my enemies. Fuck you, Esau, the red man, white man hunter. Fuck you, Esau, Satan's seed. Fuck you, the white man shall be cut off by slaughter, like Mighty God AHAYAH said. His word does not return to him void, but set out what he had sent him to do. And excuse me for the hesitation, because Satan is bumping my thoughts with this chip implant in my arm. And it won't be too much longer, Judah and Israel. I know he chipped you too. Like I mentioned, the chip implant started back in the 70s when we were in grade school. And so we are finalizing the tree of good and evil, the second coming, second Exodus. Mighty God AHAYAH is waking up the enemies to truth, and he is finalizing the quickening spirit of the 1/3 he transformed to humans, temporary in this dimension, to help those sinners that were burning in the sun. But they treated us like the Cinderella story once again. This is the 4th time they treated us like bad stepchildren, like in the Cinderella story. So fuck you, my enemies, Japheth's descendants, and you Hamites. Fuck you forever, motherfuckers. We created you to kill you forever. Goodbye forever, motherfuckers. In Yeshua's name. I'm out.